Hello everyone out there in YouTube world, welcome to today's lesson. As you guys see in the title, today's lesson is getting started and getting a basic outline for your drawing. And then moving forward, we probably won't do very many videos like this, if any of them at all, because getting an outline can take any amount of time. And whether you're doing a lifelike drawing, an abstract drawing, or an animated drawing, they all follow the same basic steps. So that's what we're going to be doing today, giving you guys general steps on getting an outline, and I'll throw in a few tips and a little advice throughout the video. We already have an 8.5 by 11 piece of sketch paper ready to go, and today's subject will be the Mad Titan himself, the one, the only, Thanos. That's visual effects on a budget.
Really lame, Dad. Yeah, lame.
Oh, that's better. Without further ado, let's jump into the lesson. For this lesson, we're using a mechanical pencil. I really recommend a mechanical pencil when you're doing an outline. They give really fine lines that are very easily erasable, which is good when you're doing a lot of course correcting. You don't gotta get the most expensive one on the market, but I'd say stay away from the cheap brands. Just a word of advice. If you don't have a mechanical pencil, if you're always using a conventional pencil, keep your lead sharpened to a fine point because you don't want the lines to be too thick. So the first step in getting a good outline is thinking of where you want your subject to be, whether it's in the middle, veering off to the right or left, or in the corner. So this one is going to be almost center, but veering off to a little bit of the left. So first part is you get basic shapes. You just get a good idea of how big you want it to be. So we're going to start right here and just give a basic shape. Okay. So we're just going to get a first little detail of his helmet. Comes to a point right about there, and then goes right back up over here. Of course, you can tell that this is from that opening scene in the movie on that Asgardian ship where he puts a whoop on the Hulk. So we're just getting just basic shapes. Of course, you could change them at any time. I recommend using one of these small erasers that you get as a refill with the mechanical pencils. Good for little detail erasing. And then out here, kind of comes out a bit. And back down here. Point and back right down here. Makes another point at his chin. So now that we have a couple of intersecting points, every detail you do moving forward will follow these intersecting points. Like right here, the next part to the helmet that comes out is going to be completely level where it meets with the other side of the helmet right there. So you could just take that and just, you could draw a little line, or you could, use a ruler. Just right there and draw just a very, very faint line across. And the next point where the helmet has a little point coming out will be right there. And it's just about even with that point, just a little higher. Now you can go back a little more. And over here, his head pops out just around here. And it goes down around there. And his cheek is really sharp, so right around there. And his cheek is about even with his little eyebrow right there, so make that about even. And then there's a long bottom part of his mouth going down to his chin. Will come all the way down where the helmet kind of ends, and you got to pay attention to how far his chin comes out as compared to the rest of the face. It looks like it comes down and meets right at that point right there where the helmet comes into contact with it. About right there is where you're going to have his chin. So yeah, always pay attention to where all these intersecting points line up with each other, because that's how you're going to be ensured that everything is in proportion and where it needs to be. Now we have a little extra right here with the helmet, so we can just go ahead with our little eraser and get rid of those lines because they are no longer necessary. So next we gotta look at the placement of his eye. And that placement of the very first eye is right here near this point and goes down almost to where that point is. And just by the look of it, it looks like we need to make a little adjustment. Like I said, we always gonna be making some course corrections as you're doing an outline. So right here, we're just gonna reshape that to where it doesn't come out as much. There, much better. Get that. And the other outcome right around there. If it's straight down, it's going to be his nose coming out from underneath this eye. He has that little kind of plump nose that he has. And this nostril is going to be a line right in the center of this pupil. So we're just going to have this little space right there that you can barely see of his left nostril. Now the other eye at this angle is going to be a line just where it starts curving down. So you could go ahead and make a line right around there. You could eyeball it or go back and use a ruler. And this eye's a little longer because of the angle, so I'm going to start right back here underneath this point. Just draw the first overlapping part of it right there. And that's going to come to about right there. And come about right here. Come right under. And right in the center is going to be his pupil, right around center with that. And these aren't final. You can always go back and correct them as you need them. This is just getting a rough outline. And then this nostril is going to be right under the point of that eye. And not very far down. About right here. Going to have that nostril. And this is almost like a complete circle. So let's shade that in right there, just so we have a space where it is. And then go back and kind of redo this. Because we make mistakes when we're doing outlines. Let's get the eraser. A lot of the doing an outline is trial and error. Cut here to make another small, minute correction right there. I had his eye too in close. It's going to be right off this nostril, like straight up is where it's going to begin. Right around there like that. And that eye is going to come from right about here. And right around there. That's good. Pupil's going to be right around there. Okay, now of course underneath his nose, he's got that indention that's somewhat like a teardrop. And that's going to be right from the inside of this point just a little off to the left and straight down from there. Don't worry about making all these lines from paper because they will be erased at the end. So then we're gonna have this teardrop looking indention just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting everything aligned at this point. Goes down about right there. Cut. Okay, now before we start doing the rest of the face, we're gonna go ahead and determine where the right side of his helmet covers up. So this part comes down, it's lined right around there. So we're just gonna make a nice faint little line. It comes down from about right around there. At a very faint angle. And then this point is about even with the top of this nostril. So let's take the roller, go from the top of that nostril and make another faint line. And it comes down from right around there. And then this little point right here is going to be about perpendicular with, it's going to cross with this point. It's going to cross with that pupil. So you're pretty much doing like coordinates on a map, like a longitude and latitude, to get things lined up the way they should be. Okay, and then this right here is gonna come down to the bottom. And the bottom part is going to be even with about the inside of that pupil. So just make a line right there. And you don't have to, make it perfectly straight all the time. Just depending on how you're doing your drawing. If you're doing more abstract or animated, it doesn't always have to be 100% when you're just getting a basic outline, because you just want to get all your measurements right. Okay, before we get to the next step, we're just going to go ahead and erase these little guiding lines that we've made. Okay, he's got these indentions coming out from the side of his nose, and this one comes right at the end of this nostril and all the way down, perpendicular with the helmet. And this bottom one comes out the bottom of the nostril. It kind of casts a little shadow, like right around there, like where we can just bring out the side of that cheek a little more. And now we're off to his lips. Now the first lip is right in the center of this right here pupil. And on the other side, it's right here on the inside of that nostril. Go straight down. And see at the angle that we're at, it's going to be a lot smaller right here because of the roundness of his face. And right underneath that indentation, we have a little dip. He has these good structured lips right there. And they kind of go down a bit, like in a frown almost. Let's just kind of shade it in there just so we get a good shape of the way the top lip goes, because it's going to make another dip right there. So let's just kind of shade that in roughly. We can always go back and make the line perfect later. And then the bottom lip is very, very thin and will come right across there. There's more shadow on his top than there is on the bottom, so then we can just go through and color that in a little more so you can see where the lips are separated. Okay, and that brings us down to his ever famous chin. Let's start right this groove right here, right in the center. It's gonna go a little inward, then make a dentation and come outward where to the shape of his chin. It's not gonna be completely, completely straight and rounded. He has a very bumpy chin. The CGI on him in the movie was just incredible, if you ask me. Put another one there. I mean, every time I do his chin, I always think of the scene in the movie where they're on nowhere and Peter runs up with the blaster and tells him to put Gamora down or he'll blow that nutsack of a chin right off your face. Whole theater went nuts on that scene. Let's go on this side. Yeah, I mean, Thanos had a number of just terrific lines in that one. Another one of my favorite ones is when on the scene where they were in nowhere, when Thanos has the Collector pinned down and the Collector's like, "Why would I lie?" Thanos just replies, "I imagine for you it's like breathing." I just love the way he delivers that line. There we go, right there. I got a couple ones that go more outward. And right here, on the very edge where his lips meet. Got another one. And then underneath where the helmet curves in, cast a little bit of a shadow right there. And then we got some little indentions over here. His eyebrow comes up. And he's got a little indention underneath that eye. And another one coming up beneath that eye. Then of course he's got these other grooves in his face. But this is basically your general outline before you get into the details. Then like over here with his helmet, got some more grooves that come in. Comes right up into here. Yeah, and this is just other little small things, but in general, this is the basics of getting down your outline for your drawing. Now, a word of advice, never jump right into the fine details and all the detailing before you get a chance to look at your drawing with fresh eyes. It's something I've been doing for a while and it has helped my work immensely. So if you do your little outline in the morning time, I'd say wait until evening to critique it again. Once you have a chance to forget about it and you look at it with fresh eyes, it's much easier to pinpoint where you went wrong in some areas. So, and if you do your outline at nighttime, I'd say it's a good idea to wait until the next morning to get started on the fine details, not before critiquing, of course. Well, that's all the time we have for today's lesson. I hope you guys had a great time. Cut. So thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video and want to see more like it, go ahead and click the subscribe button. You can feel free to follow me on social media. My usernames are right there on screen. For commissions, my email is in the description of this video. Just be sure to put the word commission in the subject line. And as for the snotty children you saw at the beginning of this video, when this video is over, half the universe will still exist. I hope they are visual effects on a budget.